and hopefully in a little ways we'll make some
We are good to go.
difference.
Great.
Thank you so much, Sushin. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to TIFFIN Talks, a platform to navigate the new normal via meaningful conversations across verticals. And today, we have picked up Jammu and Kashmir, a state that is symbolic of a multitude of emotions and expressions for every Indian. Today, we will have a session on Jammu and Kashmir, Reconcile, Reboot, Reignite. And we have amongst us an elite panel consisting of Mr. KB Kachru, Chairman Emeritus and Principal Advisor, South Asia Radisson Hotel Group, Mr. Sanjay Puri, MD, PBI India, Dr. Amit Wanchoo, CEO, Space Communications, Ishan Verma, Director, JK Startups Association, and Ms. Roohi Nazki, Founder, Jaai. And to take this conversation forward, I'll hand it over to none other than Ms. Kaveree Bamzai, a noted author and a very, very senior journalist and a great friend. Over to you, Kaveree. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This is the first of what we hope will be several dialogues on Jammu and Kashmir. I'd also like to introduce you to my co-anchor, Sourish Bhattacharyya, who, apart from being a noted food writer, is also my husband. So technically the son-in-law of Kashmir, and a great connoisseur of everything that is Kashmiri. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us. I'd like to start with Roohi right away, because she's there in Srinagar, I think, with a rote and her cup of kehwa, and we're all very envious of her. Roohi, how is it, to work, to be with Jaai right now in these times where it's not always possible to keep your lovely store open? Roohi, you have to unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Roohi, yeah.
There. So a cup of kahwa is keeping me company here.
Yeah.
And I ordered a piece from Jaai as I was talking to you people. Jaai has been closed for quite some time. I think I haven't been there for the last 4 months now. As for Kashmir, it's beautiful as always. The weather is brilliant, though it has been a little hot, but we had nice showers yesterday, so it's good. But like I think Mr. Kachru was just now talking about how things are all over the world or even in the rest of the country. I do feel that if all of us get out of this alive, this whole situation of COVID and how it is going right now, whether as individuals or businesses or organizations, I think we would have gained a lot. So within that small window of, let's say, movement that we are allowed here because of the pandemic,
Roohi, we've lost you. Okay, I think we've just lost Roohi. Dr. Wanchoo, can I come to you and talk a little about space communications, because you're a trained doctor and yet you set up an event management and film production company. So what prompted you to do that?
Hi everyone, and first of all, thank you TIFFIN Talks for basically giving us this opportunity. I would like to say that as a medical doctor, I was working with patients a lot, and I have always seen a lighter part in treatment. It helps patients a lot. And since we were in Kashmir, so nothing usually used to happen here. There was no entertainment and nothing would post 6 p.m. there was anything to do. So I started for event management just as a social initiative, and I thought like we should do some events, and I used to do it in hospital as well every Saturday with patients, and the response was very nice. So I continued that, and that's how it initially started. And then slowly I engaged the youngsters, because we had so many youngsters here who were very creative. And you know that we also had a lot of mental health issues here, which was mostly connected with post-traumatic stress disorder. And engaging these youngsters into fabrication, stage making, stage designing, creative things, it grew so big that from just 2 or 3 boys and girls, it went all along. Today, we have involved more than 10,000 boys and girls in Jammu and Kashmir state, in particular in event management. And with that also we started like it was just by accident that Rockstar film was being shot here, and we were got first opportunity to do a line production with them. And then the film shoots also picked up a lot, and many youngsters got either into the musical part or into the acting part. So it was first always not started as a business, just to do something wherein you could just be with the patients and give them some sort of entertainment, or even youngsters. And slowly it grew up, and then I could see the opportunity that it has two things it serves. One, it provides the employment to youngsters, and second, it also gives you a very light heart moments, which in Kashmir we really had none. So
Right.
that was one of the things which I feel prompted me to go into space communications. And since then it has picked up a lot, and we have been working in Jammu, in Kashmir, in Ladakh, and then we were also part of various films which were shot here, and the last one we were engaged with was Haider. So, and it gave me an opportunity to meet people, to interact with them. And as an event manager, you were doing different works every day. Someday you are basically launching a product, another day you are doing a student activity, third day you are in a university, fourth day you are with the doctors. And it helped me to basically identify the best of the young lot we have, who can basically grow, and that is what I feel gives you satisfaction.
And we can't forget the old links that Kashmir has with Bollywood. I mean, it was like the summer capital of Bollywood. Practically all the Chopras and the Kapoors would come to Kashmir and shoot all their movies, and you see them from Waqt onwards. So Kashmir has a long relationship with Mumbai as well.
Absolutely. I personally believe that Bollywood was obviously a very solid thing pre-90s. And
Yes.
then post-90s, obviously, slowly it picked up. Right from 2008, we had a lot of activities happening here. And even if you see the musical part of different films, like in Rockstar, we had a song Sadda Haq, and I remember
Exactly.
A.R. Rahman, Imtiaz Ali, Ranbir Kapoor. That song was first time experimented here in a place in Shalimar, and we were part of like around 7 to 8 people total. We were enjoying Vazwan also and seeing this song and just complimenting and giving our reactions whether this is a good song or what should be
Right.
added. It was a great opportunity for us. And similarly in Haider you had Bismil, wherein we got the local musicians to play all that rabab and stuff, and it was recorded here in a studio here, wherein you had all local musicians. So,
Yes.
it gives you two
Yeah.
opportunities.
Great. Can I quickly go to Ishan, and then I'd like Puri. You also represent the multiculturalism of Kashmir. Your family has the works. And you're very particular about the Jammu aspect of Jammu and Kashmir. Talk a little about what are the challenges you face as an entrepreneur in Kashmir and Jammu and Kashmir, and what your journey has been like.
So thank you, ma'am, for bringing me on to this Tiffin Talk. So
You're
it's
also
been
the
great.
youngest here, I think.
Oh yeah, probably. So, ma'am, basically, Jammu and Kashmir has got a lot of abundant opportunities, and almost every sector is absolutely unexplored. So, I started my entrepreneurial journey in somewhere around 2014. So, I've been like the luck has been kind on me that I've reached to so many stages like IIT Bombay's Eureka, Tata First Dot, India Innovation Growth Program, and a lot more stuff. So I could see like there were a few barriers that were stopping all these youngsters from reaching on to all these stages. So me myself being from a very small village of District Punch, so I saw okay, like if I could come to this place and I could reach this place, so there could be a lot more youngsters who could come here. And again, I found out some basic problem. It was like there was a big regional divide all the time. There was big language barrier all the time. So my family actually helped me come across all those things that I already discussed during the IGW. Like my mother is a Kashmiri Pandit, my father is a Pahadi Dogra. So I basically belong to both the backgrounds.
Yeah.
As well, I am a Kashmiri and as well as I am a Dogra. So this helped me actually bridge the gap between Jammu and Kashmir and being into the remotest districts of Jammu and Kashmir. So I could understand the real-time challenges that somebody could face on the border in terms of infrastructure, terrorism, or anything else. So when I joined this group of people, I came back to Jammu after all these, getting into all those events and these things. So I discussed it with Sahil and a bunch of other entrepreneurs. So we said, "Okay, let's come together. Let's build an ecosystem for the generations to come. Let's not get into this what happened in 90s and what will happen in 2030s. So let's discuss about today. Let's discuss about the future of the present generation and the generation which is about to come." So we thought, so if there is economic opportunity and there is economic independence, so the development could come in and all these problems could go away and youngsters would find more opportunities to connect among themselves. This regional divide would go away. A lot more challenges would go away actually. So this is what gave birth to this Jammu and Kashmir Startups Association. We decided not to go with the word Jammu. We decided not to go with the word Kashmir. So we decided okay, it should be Jammu and Kashmir Startups Association. That is why I was very specific with everything. Like both Jammu and Kashmir should be the part of all the dialogues, whatever is happening in near future or anywhere in.
Yeah. Great. Sourish, before you go to Mr. Kachru and Mr. Puri, I just want to bring Roohi back in if she's with us and complete our conversation. Roohi, are you back with us?
Yes, she'll have to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Roohi, you have to unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself, please.
Yeah.
So I can, I hope I am audible now. Yeah.
Yes, you are. This is, of course, the challenge of Kashmir. We all know internet bandwidth.
Yes.
But what is your experience with Jaai been, Roohi? It's a space for young women, for older women to come, to gather, to talk, to sort of be free.
Actually,
and also it's a slice of Kashmiri heritage.
It's a slice of Kashmiri heritage, and not just for the women, but for men and women. And we have been in business for the last 4 years now. But being in Kashmir, I mean, I think half that time we have been closed. And maybe 2.5 years we have been closed, but that is the reality of doing business or doing any work in Kashmir, as Amit will probably attest to that. But then I keep saying that one of the core things about doing business here is being committed to doing business in Kashmir or working in Kashmir in the kind of circumstances that unfortunately we now have here for the last 30 years. So when I started Jaai, I obviously did not have any clue about what I'm getting into as a business, because I'm a professional. I come from a salaried background. It may sound mushy and it may sound sentimental, but it was just the love of Kashmir and the love of Jaai that did it. And of course, the whole environment of Mahata's studios and Mr. Jagdish Mehta, who agreed to give that place for Jaai, and big thanks to him. And he's a huge part of what we were able to do. It's a small space, but it has a big heart.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk in cliches, but it's a small place. We have all of 8 tables, but within these operations of 2.5 years, we made a place for ourselves. And the place, and what I really wanted to do in Jaai is to really express who being a Kashmiri meant for me.
Yeah.
Now, all of us being Kashmiris, and that son-in-law of Kashmir that we had, we know how complicated and complex, and in some ways tragic, it has become to be a Kashmiri. Now, there are so many layers to it, and I have been away from Kashmir. Mumbai is home to me, and one has traveled all over the world. But you will all assess, you will all probably, stay with me when I say that no matter where we are in Kashmir, we will always compare things to Kashmir. We always want to go home. Wherever we are, we want to go home. So Jaai for me was, in a sense, coming back home. and looking for that home that had been there in the 90s, looking for that sensibility, looking for that value system. I think that is the critical part of it, the value system, the inclusiveness, all of us that used to be there. And what Kashmir was when all of us were there. It was a different Kashmir. I pray and hope, and every single day in Kashmir, I have worked in Jaai. I have worked to express that part of Kashmir. So that's what Jaai means for me. It's a lot of sentiment. It's a lot of who I am as a Kashmiri. And it's a lot of giving expression, like we were just not talking about road, but we do celebrate all festivals there.
Yeah.
So we celebrated Christmas with such gaiety and joy.
Yeah.
Eid, of course.
Yeah.
And then Hotèl.
Yeah.
And then all the other festivals. And I have tried in small ways, you know, to represent that home that it is in the small things that I'm doing in Jaai. You can see you can't stop me from talking when I get to Jaai.
No, it's so wonderfully put. And I don't know why you say you speak in cliches, but you really are, as you said, you're a warrior, but you also have the heart of a poet, I think. And that really expresses itself in your tea room as well. Sourish is a great fan of roads.
Yeah.
Do you want to chip in here?
Yeah. I was waiting to get into the conversation with Roohi because, I've been like a couple of days back, I was watching this rap video, which an artist has put up about the food of Kashmir. And I realized they've got out 8 to 10 varieties of breads in Kashmir.
Yes.
I mean, and that may be just a top layer. I mean, I'm sure there must be many
That's
more.
the tip of it, yes.
Yeah. So, tell us something about the breads of Kashmir and, how about the level of your bakery industry. I believe your naans and your rots and all represent a vibrant culture of bread making or bakery in your part of the country.
See, for any Kashmiri, and I'm sure Kaveree included and then you as well, for us, Chot is Girda. That's the word, right?
Yeah.
It's the word. Noon chai, a cup of noon chai, a Girda, and butter. And I'm going to mention the brand name here, Amul butter. Amul butter or a Sochwar and a Girda. So for us, I think that is the best breakfast in the world.
Yeah.
And so it starts with that. So I think Jaai was, and see, I come from like Kaveree mentioned, I come from a family of poets. We have nothing to do with business. but I also, my Nanihal was in Hotèl or Madin Sahab, which is like downtown. My people come from Bandipora. So I am a person from the village, I'm a person from the downtown. I am educated in convent, and then of course work has taken me everywhere else. So there are these aspects of me, all of them, which I wanted to bring into Jaai. So you will see, and of course with an authenticity, staying true to the core of it. So serving giddas, using lavasa for creating a lavasa pizza.
I didn't know that lavasa is also part of Kashmiri culture. I thought it was part of, when we always use the term lavasa or lavash in the case of, and we talk about.
I lost you there.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear us now? Yeah, okay.
Okay. So, I always, when I saw the mention of lavasa, it at once reminded me of lavash, which in fact Armenia, the Armenian, is so much associated with the Armenian culture. And I didn't realize that something similar was happening right in our backyard in Jammu and Kashmir.
In Jammu and Kashmir. So we have in the bakery part, like you mentioned, so there is a heavy influence of Central Asian stuff, and then there is the British, right? So who can forget the cake of GN, the plain cake, which is like, it's fabulous and fantastic. And I think I got lost there again, so.
No, we can hear you. We can hear you.
We can hear you loud and clear.
So there are these two distinct parts of bakery. One is our own very own. So Jaai has launched its bakery line called Soaked. And so we are doing for instance, the road. It is there. It's not that it is no longer there. It is there, but it is now confined to a very small area of the city. And why shouldn't the young people, young Kashmiris, be able to know about road, eat road, exchange road on auspicious occasions? So we have packaged it and made smaller versions while sticking, to the basic recipe. So there is that element of it. Then there is the which is like a bagel, and then there is the lavasa, which we made into a lavasa pizza, and then there is of course the cakes and the pastries, which Kashmiris are so fond of, and which Eid is full of. So there is a lovely tradition, there is a great taste that all of us have for it, and at Jaai we blended the English tea traditions with the Kashmiri ones, because we almost have an afternoon tea. I mean, the 4 o'clock tea is so important for us. The morning tea is so important.
Right.
Right. Well, I think we have again lost Roohi's voice. Can we just draw Mr. Kachru into the conversation?
Yes, please do. Yeah.
Because when we're talking about breads and bakeries and all the good things of life, Mr. Kachru, you were the first hotel management graduate from Jammu and Kashmir. Is that right? Mr. Kachru, you'd like to unmute yourself, please.
Yeah.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Now.
Yeah, I was from the first batch.
Absolutely, yes.
So
you were the first.
Yeah, I was actually from the first batch. Actually, 3 of us came from J&K together to do a course in hotel management in Delhi. So in that manner, yes, I was the first one to pass out with a formal hotel management from Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir.
And you have of course seen work. You've done work everywhere. You've worked very closely with Mrs. Gandhi. You've been instrumental in setting up many hotels. Now, when was the first time you went to Jammu and Kashmir back as a hotel hospitality professional? Which was the first hotel you set up in Jammu and Kashmir?
Sourish, before I actually tell you how I went there, I just want to compliment you for allowing all of us to within ourselves and everybody else rekindle the original ethos that were prevalent in the valley. I think this is really big, and we all must push the concept of Kashmiria, which in parts is forgotten.
Yeah.
But it's somewhere in every Kashmiri. It is within their hearts, and actually it's our own legacy, and our history points to this. And what actually keeps us united is our love for homeland.
Yeah.
And help us do it. Coming back to your question on how I went there, I actually joined hotel management by accident. My friends there on the panel, they would know for a Kashmiri, particularly for a Kashmiri, every parent wants them to be either a doctor or an engineer. They don't want to do them anything else. So did my parents. And because he used to work for All India Radio, Radio Kashmir, and the only thing I was open to hospitality was when he used to take me sometimes to Adus to have pineapple pastry.
All this is making me very hungry, Mr. Kachru. First, Roohi, now to you.
Yeah. So that's the only thing I knew about it. Wanted to do it. Just I wasn't a good student, and I couldn't manage admission in engineering or a medical college, and did hotel management. And I always wanted to come back, and I wanted to work in Jammu and Kashmir because I had friends there. and being in the state was always considered you're close to the family, close to everybody who cares about you. But unfortunately, opportunities, as Amit said just now, that we have a huge lot of youngsters there who were looking for opportunities. Ishan, Sanchi, they are talking about it. So I, at that point, didn't find what I found was not acceptable. So I looked around and joined. But having said that, the hotel, which the then company I used to work for, ITDC, opened a hotel in Jammu. It used to be called Jammu Motel. I don't know how many of you would remember. So I was part of the opening team. I opened the hotel, and I ultimately
which year?
So that was actually my first job.
Which year was this?
It was 77, 78, around that time. So we opened the hotel. I was there for about a year before ITDC picked me and sent me overseas for some further studies. So that's my first exposure of a job in Jammu and Kashmir.
Right. And how was it, then about, say, I think about 20 years later or so, you were the one who put Kachru on the 5-star hospitality map of the country.
Yes,
when you opened a Radisson in Kachru.
When I left ITDC, and I joined Carlson Companies, which is now Radisson Hotel Group. I joined them. I was based in Singapore, and the first hotel, our group, we now have over 154 hotels in India, just in India. So first hotel we opened in India was in Kachru. Vaishno Devi, and people thought I was mad, going where nobody will see, nobody will do anything, ask somebody to put in so much of investment.
And which year was this? Which year was this?
That was 98. It was 98. I was, sorry, 97.
97, yeah.
So we set up this hotel, which was 7 kilometers away from the main city, and it has actually become a resort-like thing. Now, you'll be happy to know we are developing 2 more hotels in Kachru itself now.
Wow.
So that's my J&K connection, and I feel Jammu and Kashmir can really give a big start to jumpstart rather to economy of Jammu and Kashmir if we focus a little bit more on the aspect of its tourism and creating jobs. And the opportunity of creating jobs is huge. I understand now about even today, over 1 lakh families are dependent on tourism in the state.
Wow.
So I think we all need to do our bit and establish more and more facilities there. Kashmir is, I may be biased, but Kashmir is uncomparable. It's uncomparable from in every aspect of it, whether it's art, culture, food. I mean, I would give up, to be honest, any cuisine. Sourish may not like it, but I'll give up any cuisine if I get Kashmiri food. So
my thoughts exactly. My thoughts exactly.
So we all need to. I'm really, as a Kashmiri, I'm grateful to you for starting these TIFFIN talks so that people can come, contribute, and tell and advise the government also to what to do, how to do it, and how can we move quick on this. We must have quick wins in Kashmir. Kashmir has suffered enough. I think we need to move on.
Right.
And I think there is a need for a counter narrative. I think we've heard one narrative too long now. It's time to move on, and Kaveree,
No, I'd like to bring in Sanjay Puri of PIMAC, because he comes from a family which has been associated with edible oils business, I think, since 1933. And PIMAC was a must in every Kashmiri household. We only cook in mustard oil as much as possible, as Mr. Kachru will attest to, Roohi will attest to as well. So, Sanjay, it's not easy being in business in Kashmir, is it?
No, I don't agree with you. First of all, thank you very much, Kaveree, for having me here. And
Yes.
we're talking about an alternative dialogue. If there's somebody who's going to give you that, it has to be somebody who lives in Kashmir and who understands, this place. So you hear about Kashmiri having a problem and the businesses there having difficulty. Well, I got a call about 10 minutes back. They've declared some lockdown there. But first of all, let me say that that's something which we have this never say die spirit, which we have in Kashmir and in Jammu. And but even before that, let me thank Roohi and Dr. Kachru. They represent the most beautiful people on this in this
I agree with you.
I'm sorry, Kaveree, I missed you on it.
No.
There is the most intelligent and the most cultured.
Yeah.
If you go and have a cup of tea at Jaai, and she made it open, this is next to Suffering Moses. Now, when she talks about, a family of poetry, I mean, everything in Kashmir is poetry.
Yes.
Chinar, the floating gardens, the mountains, the lakes.
Yeah.
I don't know what is not poetry, the paper mache.
Yeah.
Now, she has opened a store next to the Suffering Moses, which is one of the most beautiful paper mache places in the, in the world. I remember as children walking up the Bund, and then walking all the way up from that side behind the Adus and all the way up to, the Secretariat, walking all the way to Lal Chowk. And it was such a beautiful walk. I wish those times would come back, but they're still there. They're there with us in my memories, but there are good things happening in Kashmir today. And I would want to focus on that.
Yes.
It still provides you a better opportunity than many, many places in the world. And you're talking about bakeries, because I think she mentioned about Amul butter. Sorry, you should have mentioned about PIMAC oil as well.
Yeah, and also your flour.
If I come to the harissa part of it, I would have done that.
We sell the finest flour in the country.
Right.
And the flour that I got.
Flour goes into making bakar khani, I believe.
Yes, bakar khani. They do that. Bakar khani is with ghee, and they give it on engagements, on weddings, on birth, and it comes from the Nanka side. It comes from the maternal side. So the way it's done also, and it's there is a lot of Sufi culture in Kashmir, and we have this Magdum Sahab. And we go there on the Thursdays, and people go Thursdays, Fridays, you climb up that next to Hari Parbat, you climb all the way up. Or niche ek dukaan hai, there is a store which sells you this, there's rots and parathas, and they serve it with halwa. And then they have,
Amit, is it still there?
Yeah, it is there.
Okay, great.
Magdum Sahab will be there forever, and so will be those small stores there, which they make those paratha kind of rotis. And they say if you want to check out a Kashmiri, the guy should be able to balance a kangdi in his kambal, which is about 10 kilos, and sleep with it, and it shouldn't fall. And then he should be able to break open a gushtaba. Now that's a big one, with his bare hands, and if it has to be made in PIMAC oil, by the way. Huh? And then also should be able to name about 20 different types of bread. And none of them is the paranthas that you eat in Punjab.
Yeah.
They have their own culture in Kashmir. And then why should I miss out on Jammu? Jammu, we have a cuisine we call for Fenis and the Katlammas.
Yeah.
And the weddings make ghayur that you give to the son-in-law. So bakery and maida and bread, and you have simpler things. You have
don't forget khata meat.
Khata meat, fine. But I want to focus a little bit more. How can I forget the khata meat? And but I was saying that also the mattis and like Punjab, but also our
Well
own
done.
culture. Our Jammu and Kashmir has done bakery proud. And I was in Turkey. Now, when you talk about Central Asia, I found that they'll do a lot of rotis and naans, which we
Which
call
are
lavazas there,
yeah.
as you were saying.
Yeah.
And
Right.
they call, they have their own names for that. I would
In
remember
fact,
them.
I got the feeling that Jammu and Kashmir is like our France. We talk about France and its bread, and its breads and its cheeses. Jammu and Kashmir also some great cheeses, sort of which are being produced locally. I'm sure, I don't know, Roohi, whether you are stocking them in your there is this American, I think, who's based out of Jammu.
There is Chris who works in Pahalgam, and he packages the cheese, and we use the mush crutch quite a bit. Used it on the pizza and served it in other ways. But there are many department stores stocking it. Yes.
So there's
Right.
so much variety to Kashmir food and Kashmir food products.
And you forget
Kaveree,
Pampur.
one thing I wanted to
And
ask
do not
Sanjay.
forget Pampur. And do not
Yeah.
forget the saffron. And outside the saffron fields, there are these bakery stores. So if you're coming down to Srinagar and you go through Pampur and you find these phenomenal, bread that they make, then keep them
Irmal.
decorated so
Irmal.
beautifully on the road. And this is how the life. It's a poetry in Kashmir, the way the life goes. So when you say it's difficult to do business in Kashmir,
So Sanjay, how
it's
does
very
this
difficult
now
to do.
go to the rest of the country?
Yeah.
How does this go to the rest of the country? I mean, do you think e-commerce can be a vehicle to take all these products
I'm sure
to the rest of the country?
That's one way. That's one way. But the shelf life is a consideration.
Yeah.
And the Kashmir has been a valley. So it's a very big valley. It opens up like no other valley in the world. And once you come into Kashmir, when you come down that Banihal road and the valley opens up in front of you, it is the valley of the most beautiful valley in the world. The Kashmiris don't want to sell anything or give anything out of there. Of course, we can grab some saffron and it goes all over the world. Bakery, the people have to develop that taste, but it's phenomenal. Now we are also, in Kashmir also we have bakery from cakes and all, which are becoming a part of our lives. But traditional Kashmiri bakery gives everybody a run for the money. It's a beautiful culture. It's a beautiful thing. It's given my family so much, and we've tried to give it back. You see, when you said P-mark mustard oil was not the first thing which started. Kashmiris were earlier, before the P-mark came in, they used to use alsiga oil, linseed oil.
Right.
So that was also, it's still used by very poor families, but that's gone. So P-mark gave them a very good quality oil. And now we have these vazas who would not do anything else. One of my favorite is Mamvaz. The guy does work for Tawaza also. And he can make you the most mouth-licking, food in the world. So then finally, my business, we started doing flour milling in around 80s. And now there is rice that we are looking at. There is a different variety of rice in Srinagar. There's a different variety of rice that they use in Jammu. Jammu Basmati is very beautiful. It's one of the finest you can get anywhere. And it's also organic. So that's an opportunity there. And this is how I feel about my state. I think it gives everybody an opportunity to come and work in the most beautiful place in the world. And there are problems there, which are there in the world. But I feel that hope is the most important part of this thing. I've seen Kashmir being more peaceful than many places in many parts of this country. I would say when you read about what's happening in UP, and we heard about the Dubai and Vikas and all this kind of stuff, I think Kashmir is much safer.
That's true.
And things are getting better in Kashmir also, and in Jammu. And you have to empathize. You can't come and tell people you're wrong and you don't understand. That narrative has to change. You have to first empathize with the Kashmiris. You have to understand the history, the background, and you find them to be the most gentle and the most beautiful businesses, most beautiful people who do very fair business. And that's a great opportunity for anybody who wants to come and work there.
Ruhi, I just want to bring you in quickly and then we'll go to Ishan as well. Do you feel that there is greater understanding, or is there more are there bigger walls that are coming up? Because it is a challenge. Doing business there is a challenge, you know, especially if you're trying to do an online business. I don't know how you manage with your bandwidth. But do you feel there's greater understanding now, especially during the pandemic, when the rest of the country has also understood what being under lockdown is?
I think there will be more empathy now from everybody else from outside Kashmir, because, you know, I think for the last 30 years, what Kashmir has been facing wasn't very, it may have been visible, but nobody had really experienced what it means, like to be, you know, stuck at home, no internet. And in the recent years, probably it has gotten worse in way of communications being shut down and stuff like that. So one wouldn't have wished this upon anybody, what is happening right now. So I'm not saying that, but well, it's happened, and I think it has generated a lot of understanding about what, how difficult is day-to-day life in Kashmir, and how the online, and Kaveree, I'm sure you're aware, and you had written about it, that how many of these small businesses by young people had sprung up in this few years, and they're all really sustaining on the online thing. They're online businesses, and when internet is down, you know, they're as good as not being there.
Exactly. Yeah.
But what has also, like, I'm also working, and we were just now talking about bringing the breads of Kashmir and bringing the, you know, the products from Kashmir to the rest of the country, or even to the rest of the world. We will all have to depend on online platforms. And for Jaai right now, I'm trying to create an online platform so that some of the products, but please understand that, you know, every small, am I audible?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So, every little detail, like I'm trying to get packaging for a takeaway model that I'm trying to do. And because I insist on quality, and because I want it done in a particular way, I have to get it from Bombay. The printing is not here. The packaging is not here. It has been 1.5 months.
Wow.
So getting a thing into Kashmir, getting it out of Kashmir, it's impossible, next to impossible. The costs are extremely high. So I always tell my friends or people I talk to is, how you do business in Kashmir is not the critical part. Why you do business in Kashmir, I think that's, therein lies the entire answer. Now, who's going to put in so much of effort, so much of, you know, the pressure, the anxiety, the stress, like if I'm not able to do it in the way that I want to put out a quality product, and no other businessman in the country is going to be able to face this. And I'm not saying that there is a bias. This is not about a bias. This is not about someone deliberately trying to, you know, block you or put you out of. It is an environment, it is a situation that has happened and that is here, and because of which now every small attempt that we make here in Kashmir, it's difficult to get it across to anybody else. Hopefully, now that people have seen what it is like to live the way Kashmiris live, of course, there's the added layer of COVID added to it, and let's hope and pray it goes off. But hopefully, there will be a lot more empathy and understanding. And really, it was heartening to just now hear. And P-Mark is, of course, more there than Amul butter. But yes, these are fair businesses. At the core of it, a Kashmiri is gentle, she is fair, and she is honest. She needs, or he needs, I'm replacing he with she definitely, respect.
Yeah.
We want respect. We want to be treated as equal, intelligent human beings. And I think all of this conflict and all of this, it just boils down to that. Give us our space. If I'm talking to you, I respect you. You respect me back. And that, I mean, at the core of it, that is all that it is about.
Yeah. And I loved what you said in my article, that you need the skill of a warrior and the heart of a saint to be in business in Kashmir. Ishan, may I come to you as a young person who's really working hard to make other businesses access the kind of environment that they need. what are the things that you are looking for as an entrepreneur in Jammu and Kashmir?
Ma'am, the very first thing is like people need to understand the difference between the regular industry and the startups.
Right.
So this is the basic difference that the government is not understanding and the existing industry is also not understanding actually. The second point is that the startup ecosystem, for developing the startup ecosystem, we were pushing the government right from 2017 onwards. In 2018, they came up with the startup policy and it still hasn't been executed. It's like July is ending up of 2020 and we don't have a startup policy in place. We have all other packages, MSME packages, industrial packages and everything. So nothing is in place for like startups. So startups like us, they need to run from pillar to post, run for the things and do everything. So this time we bunch of guys, we decided like we don't need to go to government again and again.
Yeah.
So we all came together. So presently I'm sitting here at Sahil's space. He opened up his space and he said, "Okay, like I have a space for 8 other people. You bring 8 young entrepreneurs and I'll give my space."
Wonderful.
So he bought in all the furniture, he bought in all the internet connection and everything. So we came up, we said, "Okay, like, see, we have n number of challenges and we are not going to speak about the challenges for rest of our lives.
Yeah.
So it's we need to be the change that we wish to see exactly. So we wish to see this Jammu and Kashmir developing into the one of the most vibrant startup ecosystems in the country.
Right.
So while we started on this, so J&K government had no care, they don't care and they don't get in touch. But apart from that, Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, they are supporting.
Wonderful.
IKP Hyderabad is supporting.
Okay.
Karnataka, Startup Karnataka is supporting. CIIM Ahmedabad is supporting. Sri Mata Vaishnadevi University Technology Business Incubation Center has been into the support right from day one. Now there are other startups supporting each other. So yesterday I was talking to one of my friends and I said, Karan, we don't have this space. So we have like 25 odd startup ideas coming with us. So we don't have this space to accommodate all of them. What should we do? And he said, don't worry, I have a building. I had this reading space and I'll just convert it into co-work. You don't pay. Your startups don't need to pay. Just come into my space and use it.
Wonderful.
So I said, you are going to lose a lot of money for that whole floor of like 2,500 square feet. He said, it doesn't matter. You people are putting in your heart and soul into developing this. So this is my contribution to the entire stuff. And today we are putting up a post like we are developing new thing called the JK Startup Hub. So the entire space has been given by this guest, Karan Nagpal. There are two startups who came in as knowledge partners like Via NS and EduFam. So there is SMVDU TBIC supporting with the entire cause. So this is how we need to move forward. We don't need to take up the challenges and talk about the challenges again and again. See, I come from a very small town on the border district. I've seen terrorism, I've seen shelling. So so many times, there are so many things. We were used to be in school and there used to be encounters, we used to come back, but we never let all of these come into our lives and we never stopped dreaming beyond all those challenges. So this is what we are doing. So we need to be the dreamers, we need to be the doers, and we need to change this whole ecosystem right from scratch. So there will be people joining slowly and steadily. And now, slowly and steadily, the people are coming up. There are more organizations. In fact, they are not from J&K. So all the organizations or leading institutes from rest of the country, they're coming up and supporting. They said, like, you need mentorship, you need some kind of external support, we'll be happy to provide you. And we are just waiting for the day when Lieutenant Governor's office or Commissioner Secretary's office comes up and says, like, guys, you are building this entire ecosystem. What help do you need from us?
I think we can do it even without that. Suresh, you had a question.
Yeah, Ishan, because you speak so inspiringly. What are the kind of startups? What are the ideas that are in the incubation phase right now?
So, sir, there are multiple.
Maybe they've gone beyond the incubation phase.
So there are so many startups. There are software as a service startups. There are platform as a service startups. There are agri-tech startups. There are the startups working in the supply chains. There are startups working in the last mile logistics, hyper local level, and so many of them.
A lot of the things like when we're talking about bakeries, for instance.
Right.
I'm sure a lot of you guys must be working on solutions when you're talking about last mile delivery solutions. You must be also looking at these products, and there is a lot of scope for synergy between people who are producing and people like you who are working on the back end.
So I'll be talking about two specific startups working on this last mile logistics side, like the hyperlocal delivery startups. There is Fast Beetle in Srinagar, set up by Samiola. There is Delivery Bear in Jammu, set up by Akshay Gupta. So these young guys, they're working into it. So they have bought in a lot of businesses online. When there is
Please
no
connect them
internet,
to Ishan. Please connect them to Roohi right away.
I know,
definitely.
yeah.
So
You
I'll
and me
share
need to talk. You and
Yes.
me need to talk after this.
definitely. Yeah, I'm definitely. So there are lot many startups and there are so many amazing youngsters building this entire ecosystem. They come up and they say, "Okay, well, let's do something." So we have this idea, and how can you get in touch? We said, "Okay, yeah, see, we are very open. So whatever experience I have from last 7 odd years, whatever competitions I have been, I'll just open the doors for you people." And there are similar people. There is Vaibhav from tourism. He worked at Make My Trip International Division for last 4 odd years.
I
There
think
is
Vaibhav
Sahil
is
who has
also in the
been into
audience. Vaibhav has
yes.
been.
So exactly. So
the
Vaibhav has
audience.
been a very strong support. He has worked at Make My Trip for 4 odd years, handling the international businesses. So he came back, set up his own business, Travel Dost. So there is Sahil who has been into agro food sector for last 12 odd years. There is Arush into digital marketing from last 7 odd years. So there are countless stories and countless people to tell of.
Amit, yeah, Amit, can I just bring you in here because you're also involved in so many different kinds of businesses, and you've also been talking about the linking of districts in Kashmir with particular states in the rest of the country as well. Uh, so there is an effort to be more collaborative, isn't it? And to not necessarily always wait for the government to come up with solutions.
Yes, like before I come to that, I would like to mention here also, like we have to admit certain things also. See, a local industry out here, I'll just rush you through some. If we just see last 10 years, like
Yeah.
we started business in 2009, we had a problem in Shupin. 2010, unrest. You
Yeah.
again start business in 2011. 2012, again unrest. Then 2013, you again start business. 2014, floods.
Yeah.
Then 2015, whole year you are reviving it. Then suddenly business slightly picks up. 2016, again unrest. 2017, you again work hard to set up something, and then 2018, political unrest. And then in 2019 Jan Feb, you start again business, and then lockdown, and now COVID. So this is 10 years wherein you have just worked for practically 3 years or 3.5 years. So we have to do 2 points very important, because as Roohi said, why you do business in Kashmir, either it's passion or patience. These are two things which you have to focus on that. And that is the passion that we all want to be in Kashmir.
Right.
But also, like Ishan was saying, that from the government side, we don't need much from them. They have been giving subsidies for last 70 years, but nothing has happened. As I was watching Ishan, I was myself 10 years back in the same way. So the thing is that what we basically want is that they secure local industrialists, because if you don't secure them, anyone who comes from outside can also not do business here properly. Businessmen here have to be the bridges, and when they are secured, because unfortunately in all this crisis, they have to pay their employees salary, and because of all this, either there will be layoffs or they cannot keep their employees. It is all local industries, private sector, which has been giving employment to so many people, whether in Jammu or in Kashmir. So even NPA problem that lots of business houses are facing. So these are the few points where government should come in, because there we need them, because we are dependent on them. Rest, we don't need subsidies from them. What we need from them is just a proper, clean, transparent system. As far as you are saying about the linkages, because I personally believe that every district in Jammu and Kashmir is famous for one or the other product. Let us take Mr. Sanjay was talking about saffron, or his P mark is very famous. Or when we were talking about Kashmiri food, the video that you were talking about, I had posted it because it's made by Kunal Dar and sung by Zahid Wani, who named himself as rapper Ashu. So you have these people who come and produce, Similarly, we have bat industry in South Kashmir. We have apple at particular area. We have walnut, we have cherries, we have handicrafts, we have and number of all these environment friendly industries. You just have to do one thing. As I always say, you have saffron. Saffron is used a lot in so many temples all across the country. Tie up the Pampur saffron farmers with, say, a temple in Tirupati, or a temple in Shirdi, or a temple in Maharashtra. En masse, they will get organic saffron, and they will get orders wherein they don't have to be dependent on people who do the trading system. Similarly, we have cricket bat industry. Cricket is so famous here. tie them up with Maharashtra, because Maharashtra BCCI is one of the most powerful BCCI branches we have. They have a lot of money. They can straight away place the orders. We know so many cricketers love cricket bats. Similarly, cherry, similarly, all other industries. So you have to do these market linkages, but what you have to do is that you secure the industrialists locally here. Because
Right.
what happens, I'll tell you, we had EDI, which has been working with young entrepreneurs. But unfortunately, I would like to say that they are working in a way which is not even helpful to entrepreneurs as well.
Right.
Because unfortunately, they work with some bank people, and then there is some problem in those loans. Then they tell, okay, 30% tumhara, 40% iska, 50% isko milega. And we have not seen those many success stories that we could have seen by the way EDI was given grant in aid.
Right.
Similarly, they identify these youngsters कि चलो तुम्हें सर्टिफिकेट एक महीने का आना करना करना यहाँ कोर्स, उसके बाद तुम्हें लोन मिलेगा. They don't identify them कि इसका इंटरेस्ट किस में है. You have to identify a youngster, identify an entrepreneur, then initiate, and then give him a leveling space, because we have to understand industries who are here, they have to compete with industries from national or MNC companies, but we need some support because our market linkages are not that strong.
Right.
We have been, again, this topsy-turvy curve that we have seen all these years. So there I feel we need that support. So then every business house will obviously progress. So secure local industrialists and secure local entrepreneurs who are young, give them a hand holding, and then you see how we just want hand holding in terms of transparent system.
Right.
Not that if Ishan has to register, it will take him 2 years to go pollution control board, NOC, PDD, NOC, then this NOC, then that NOC. And by that time, the whole time span is gone.
Yeah.
That's what I want to put out across.
In fact, Amit, I wanted to ask you one question which Gauri Gulati has posted on a timeline. And she says that, is there a way, people who ordinary citizens outside J&K support the people, in J&K and help them build back the businesses? How can say people like Gauri, who's into public relations, how can she help businessmen in Jammu and Kashmir tell the stories to the world? So these stories are not being discussed. The narrative is something very different.
See,
the dominant narrative, that is.
I agree. See, unfortunately, for last 3-4 years, our news channels, they have only one program from 7:30, 8 p.m. till 9:30 p.m., especially few news channels. They have to put Kashmir, and then on one side a Kashmiri Pandit, on another side a Kashmiri Muslim, then maybe someone from Jammu, and then have fight. Because both the people have only one thing, how to initiate that fight. And unfortunately, all across the country, we are known only for that. So as Gauri is in PR, I think it is one of the most important things that we need is to project the positive stories. In spite of whatever is happening in Kashmir, we all put in so much of effort, but unfortunately, we don't have a news channel wherein, or a medium wherein we can show that there is positivity as well. We have Kashmiri Muslims who support Kashmiri Pandits all across here as well. We have Kashmiri Pandits who support Kashmiri Muslims, or Jammu people who support Kashmiris, Kashmiri people who support Jammu. But then there are 2 or 4 negative things, and only those things get highlighted. So as a PR company, I would love that we can connect, and I can put her across to so many positive voices that are here. She can get connected with them and just project them. I think one positive story in a fortnight is more than enough to tell people what we are doing. That's what you have to project. A Kashmiri is, as Roohi also put up, as Sanjay ji also put up, as Kachru sir also put up, that we are gentle, loving people. Just remember 2 E's when you are talking to a Kashmiri. We are emotional and we are egoistic. Emotionally हमसे कुछ भी मांगेंगे, सर काट के दे देंगे. Egoistic होगा तो फिर हम भी नहीं मानते, So just handle us like that. That is what because we just want love and we will give love. That's love and respect. That's all.
My dream, of course, is to have a TIFFIN Talks in Jaai. I hope we will achieve
that. Would be fantastic.
I hope we'll achieve that at some point. Sanjay, I just want to bring you in quickly and talk about your food park. How do you see that happening?
You see, that's something every business has to plan for the future. So because food is something which we feel that we've done all our lives, trying to support the community by giving them the food in the sense, quality food. And we've learned our way to see that if you are able to bring in value to the local culture by giving them the food which is most adaptable to their requirements. That's something which is good for business. I'll tell you a small story. When I started, my business in flour milling, I wasn't really aware about the kind of requirements my customer had. So we did a tie-up with the CFTRI Mysore. Now that is the #1 premier institution in the country. So I went there, talked to the director, and I said, "You come and help us to set up this lab." And while we were setting up the lab, he told me that there is a lot of rheology in the wheat flour, and you will need to invest. So that's the one thing I've realized in life is that if you invest, commit to your customers to give them the best possible product, it works somehow. So we got this company from France called Chopins. They came and they fingerprinted the kind of wheat flour you need for different bakeries. So me and this French guy, we went around the bakeries in the state, and he was amazed at the kind of bakery you have in the state, the wooden ovens in Kashmir and the way they do it in Jammu. So that was quite an experience. So I feel that if you are committed to trying to do your work well, then we fingerprinted the kind of wheat varieties which are good for our customers, for our products. So that learning is something which I have done in around my business. I would like to add one more thing. You have startup and you had Amit Wanchoo, even though this wasn't asked to me, but you said something very nicely about the heart of a warrior. So
I didn't actually, Roohi, it's Roohi's term. Heart
okay.
of a saint and skill of a warrior. I just love that.
I would say skill and heart of a warrior when I looked at Isawaka Yataro. He's the guy who created Mitsubishi.
Right.
Mitsubishi, this man was a samurai warrior. And he went there, जैसे हम लोगों के सरदार होते हैं, they grow hair. Samurai also grow their hair. And this guy went to a barber shop, cut off his hair. And he started his business, Mitsubishi.
Right.
You need that kind of commitment.
Right.
And you can imagine the kind of discipline a samurai warrior will have to have. And that is the discipline you need to start a business. And while we were saying that you need support, I said, I don't want any support.
Right.
Every time the government tries to support me, it goes the other side of the story. They try to support us, they will withdraw it halfway.
Right.
The only thing I will say is, please get out of my way. Let me do my business. I don't want the government support.
Right.
Whoever says I want a support from another businessman, believe me, there is no such thing as a free lunch.
Right.
And I'm sorry, but I know my friend. I'll repeat the story I've told you about my friend. It's also the level you are on for business. See, I was the second generation, so naturally I would go to CFTRI. But then, how many other flour millers were doing it?
Right.
So it's okay. The first level is I have a friend from Jammu, and he set up a business in Pulwama. And Pulwama, his factory he set up in Anantnag in 1989. When everybody was running away from Kashmir, this guy goes there and people saying, "Tu to Sardar hai." He said, "Yeah, मैं सरदार हूँ जी, और मैंने जाके factory लगानी है जी." And he set up the factory, और factory को आग लग गई. And then he rebuilt it. It was such a phenomenal, story. I asked him, "Do you want any help?" He says, "No, I don't want any help." He rebuilt the business. He's got 2 factories there. He does a plywood factory. He put up a water tank factory. He's put up a pipes key factory. And then you're talking about people going away. So Sardarji found how do you operate? You have these PLCs. You have to operate a CNC. We got people who were like telephone, mobile phone repair करने वाले लोग होते हैं. We got those guys. उनको train किया. This guy knew Kashmiri, and the guy who was training him was an Italian. He knew it. He didn't know a word of Kashmiri. This guy didn't know a word of any other language, and they found out a way. So I would say the most important thing is this heart of a warrior or the spirit of a warrior, and you have to go on. And I know it's the persistence, it's the passion, and if I have to say anything more than that, there's nothing more than that. If you enjoy your work, you don't want anybody else interfering with your work. Government, every time it has done something for us, it's become very difficult. Look at you're talking about EDI. उसको तो उड़ा दिया था यार वहाँ पे लोगों ने in Pampur. So I had a friend who had to go and evacuate that. He's from BSF. So I don't believe that you need anything other than a little bit of your own support in the sense that, yeah, please, हमारी registration कर दो. We don't want anything from the government. We want to do it for the government. We'll do it for the community, and we will do it for ourselves and our families. And for everybody who's my customer is my family. I'll try to do the best for him. Give him the best product. Give him the top of the art product. And anybody else here, Ishan, if you want to come and discuss with me, you're welcome. We can help you find businesses which will be synergies for you. So that's something you can do.
Great. Just one last word from Mr. Kachru, and then I'd like all of you to give me one quick last word, whatever you want to say, whether it's your wish for Kashmir or whether it's what you want to do or just whatever, just one last word. But Mr. Kachru, one last question to you, and then I'll go to everyone else. You know, when we talk about mentorship, you know, you have been a mentor to so many hoteliers. What is the advice that you would give to anyone in tourism and hospitality in Jammu and Kashmir?
I think there's no shortcut to hard work, and but hard work can only happen, as everybody else said. You know, you have to accept the realities. And in terms of realities, I think almost everybody said that they don't need help from the government. Let them operate on their own, and they can do better. But I still feel we need to push for some policy reforms, which are very essential, particularly in the field of education, health, and infrastructure. If this doesn't happen, nothing will happen. We will have great plans. It will be very fragmented growth. If we want a structured growth, I can only talk about tourism. That's my passion, and that's my bread and butter, whatever you can call it. I feel we have a huge opportunity here. The other day I was at another seminar, you are aware of it, Kaveree. I said that India gets only 10 million visitors from outside internationally.
Right.
And from India, 26 million people go out every year. Now, with what has happened with COVID, I think there is an immediate market for all of us, for all the youngsters, for all the entrepreneurs, everybody. Out of this 26 million people, even if we get couple of percentage people here, you can imagine. And Kashmir is accessible. It is motorable from a lot of source markets, and it can do very well. But we have to focus on infrastructure. And if I have another couple of minutes, I would say I think government needs to really take some bold decisions in terms of structural reforms. Unless structural reforms take place, I don't think in tourism we can achieve what we want to achieve.
So,
one of us said about...
If I can intervene here, you keep talking about the need to have tourist circuits within Kashmir. One of Jammu and Kashmir. One of the circuits you talked about is the Katra Triangle.
Yeah.
Have you identified other such circuits?
I'm biased for that because I work very closely with the Shrine Board.
Yeah.
So I feel we have not looked at circuits in a proper manner. Yes, we have looked at, J&K government has looked at, Government of India has looked at it, but it's all fragmented. From Katra, you have Patni Top, you have 2 or 3 religious destinations which are just 20 miles, 15 miles away. But what is being done in a structured manner? Nothing. The key situation today is, one of the panelists just now said that there are possibilities of huge NPAs.
Yeah.
In India, it's over 22,000 crores, which is expected, NPA is expected. And quite a big part of it is in Jammu Kashmir alone. We have to do some hand holding. We cannot do, individual entrepreneurs will not sink in money. Nobody from outside is going to come and put their money when the infrastructure is not supporting, government doesn't hold hands. And I must say, to be right, in the recent past, they have taken some steps which will help people to come and invest. So let's go, youngsters, huge future. And I think if we have at least 4 or 5 circuits, where 2 night stay becomes a 3 night stay, or 5 night stay becomes a 7 night stay. But unless you build infrastructure, places like Sanasar, Patni Top, I mean, how many people can stay there? There isn't enough place to go there. So there is a lot of future, but we need to work together on it.
Yeah.
Especially another question, Mr. Kachru, branded hotels. Of course, now some of the big branded hotels have gone to Jammu and Kashmir, but there are very few international branded hotels which have really ventured into the state. Do you think there is need for a concerted drive from the government and the Ministry of Tourism to get more and more hotels to open up in Jammu and Kashmir? Of course, right now it may not be the right time because of the overall economic condition.
I think there has to be a happy mix of converting some of the heritage properties there into hotels which are locals. But international hotels have already started moving in. I mean, I can tell you from our company's point of view, Radisson Hotel Group, we have signed 7 hotels and 4 are already operating in Jammu and Kashmir at the moment.
Right.
We have Sheraton has moved in there. You have Lemon Tree there. You have actually Indian chain Lalit is doing very well.
Right. Lalit, of course,
Taj is there. ITC is there. So everybody is there. I think people in Jammu Kashmir have also realized that unless they have connectivity and access in the feeder markets, they cannot make the best use of what they have. So it is moving, and I can assure you the way things are planned. I want to be cautious, optimistically cautious about it. At the moment, if it happens the way it is planned, you will see more and more international companies moving in there.
Great. Last words, everyone. I'd like to start with Amit and then everyone else.
Yeah, before I say just one line, that as Mr. Puri and Mr. Kachru said, that's what I was saying, that in terms of policy, you need support from government, because tomorrow you have to go for a registration, you won't get that registration. There is some issue of documentation, they will not give. And you need that support from government. In terms of obviously subsidies, we don't need. So that was the point. And second, I would like to end here with this thing, that you have to revive local businesses here. Because we have not seen only 3 months of COVID, we have seen a year, now, wherein we have been totally choked and blocked as far as our economics are concerned. Before you do anything, just secure local businesses. And what you can do is that, especially local tenders that are done in J&K, you have a limit, say 1 CR, 2 CR, 3 CR, you give it to local business houses, only they can apply. And then for joint ventures, you can have a slab of 5 crores, 7, 8, 9 CR. And then all the big contracts, you keep it open. So that at least local business, local MSME sector, they are able to revive, and they are able to get their employees on board, and no one loses job in the state. That's what I would like to say.
Very practical. Sanjay?
Well, I think Amit and Kachru Sahab have already listed out all they want from the government. So I already said that what I want to do is the government should do its job. We don't want them interfering with the businesses. Whatever policy they have, they should have to be consistent with that. They shouldn't give and withdraw and do things like that. There's no credibility in that sense. And most important thing is that if they have to focus on something, then let it be sanitation. Let them clean up the cities. That Lake is the one I can't do it as a businesses. And then, the Srinagar city can be more cleaner. Same can be for Jammu. And that's one thing. Infrastructure, a lot of it is coming up, and a lot of my dreams are going to come true. I want to take a train from Jammu to Srinagar, and I'm sure in 4 to 5 years or 6 years, whenever, that's my dream is going to come down. If you ask me what are my dreams, well, they are for peace and they're for happiness for my community. Therefore, so let it come back. And I feel that it will come back because all said and done, I think it's a community of very, very happy and loving people. So how long कितने दिन नाराज रहेंगे? तो हम भी मना लेंगे ना इनको जो बच्चे नाराज हो गए हैं. और things are improving in Kashmir. Let's be hopeful, and then there is God to take care of that.
Ishan?
Let me say that.
Yeah.
Let me say that. Thank you.
Nicely put. Ishan?
So, ma'am, for me, it starts with the startup ecosystem. It ends with the startup ecosystem all the time. So my vision is like 1 year, 100 startups, and we are going to be the most emerging startup, the best emerging startup ecosystem in Jammu and Kashmir or India right now. So we'll be working on the vision, and 1 year will be enough for us.
Mr. Kachru?
Well, I would like to say that we should use this adversity as an opportunity and focus on some quick wins for survival and rebooting, as you say.
Yeah.
We should focus, we should identify those and focus on those.
Right. Roohi?
Yeah, I would say that safety and caution above everything else in the current situation. And inshallah, hopefully, once we're all safely out of that, I think I will quote a poet only, Mahmood Darwish in this case. There is an incurable malady that we all suffer from here in Kashmir, and that is called hope. So hopefully we will never desert that hope. And it's my sincere wish and prayer that the environment and the situation that needs to prevail for the hearts and the souls of Kashmiris to heal their hurt. And I hope that healing is able to come through, that environment is created by whosoever. And yeah, we'll see happier days, inshallah.
Wonderful.
And thank you so much, both of you, and TIFFIN Talks for hosting this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
We couldn't have ended on a better note. Thank you all very much. And
Thank you so much.
This is just the first of a series. We'll be back again and we'll see you soon.
Inshallah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So instead of COVID, let's have this incurable malady called hope.
It's lovely. It's so beautifully put. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.